Hello everybody, welcome to Cain Arena for this men's first round singles match between the American 29-seeded Frances Tiafoe and the Australian qualifier Jason Kubler. So the Australian will have plenty of hometown support, but Tiafoe a popular player, no doubt about that. Regular here at the Australian Open, 10th AO for him. Crowd filling up here at Cain Arena. It's been a massive day all around. Melbourne Park absolutely full to the brim. David Colbert alongside Ryan Harrison. We'll introduce Wally Masua, who'll be courtside. But Ryan, you've been out and about, and there's been some big crowds the last couple of days, the last week for the opening week. But boy, oh boy, they've come today, a Sunday opening day, and there are people everywhere.
Yeah, it's incredible walking around the grounds. You can hardly get around without bumping shoulders with somebody, and obviously so many great matchups here in the opening rounds. And that's what we've come to get used to here at the Australian Open. Everything every year is innovative and new, and they have a way of really making you feel like it's a whole new experience year over year.
So the players have made their way over from Rod Laver Arena, where tournament control is. It's the furthest spot on the grounds, so they do get the buggies across. Tunnels everywhere underneath until you get to the outside courts, and then you've got to wade your way through. But these players don't know too much about those. Kubler spent some time there earlier in the week in his qualifying encounters. And his fiancée Madison Inglis both qualified through to the main draw within an hour of each other. But this is a nice venue for tennis, particularly if you're in the shade. First 3/4 of an hour here will be a little tricky as the sun goes across. Players not too far away from being introduced onto the court. Mix between ticketed and ground pass holders in here, so the ground pass areas at the top are full already, long queues ready, and those that have got a confirmed seat, they can stroll in a little bit later, like Wally Masua does. He just comes in right at the last minute.
Well, Wally, he's the one that when he gets here, everybody else can finally arrive.
Yeah,
you know, the party doesn't start till Wally's on board.
That's right. The match, you know that the match is only a minute or two away when Wally's here. Jason Kubler's here. He's ready to go underneath the stadium here. Talk a little bit more about his journey, and as we welcome them on court, Frances Tiafoe, just a final check of the social media before you get underway.
Probably.
Saw him in action a couple of nights ago in the exhibition matches here. Had a set, 2 sets against Novak Djokovic. We're just about ready to introduce the players here for this first round men's singles match.
Players are ready for round 1 men's singles action. Please welcome from Australia, Jason Kubler. And please welcome his opponent from the United States of America, Frances Tiafoe.
Should be a good vibe here on Cain Arena, because the Australian versus the popular Tiafoe. One of the tennis fans will have warm regard for him. Australian fans, who of course will have an inclination to support the Australian Jason Kubler. But for Tiafoe, twice a semi-finalist at the US Open, quarter-finalist here in 2019, but last year was a second round exit.
So you have both of them.
Got a great record at the Australian Open, and in fact in Grand Slams generally in the first round. So he will start a strong favourite here. Already seen a qualifier get the win on Cain Arena. Arthur Ferry, the Brit, defeating the 20th seed Fabio Caboli in the opening encounter today. So if you've made it this far, 1v1, always fancy your chances. It's just about ready to go downstairs to hear the instructions. There's that water bottle. I'll get to that once we see a good shot of it.
Yes, sure. You can come here and we face this way. Come here and we face this way. Yes.
Frances just letting everyone know who's in charge here.
Okay, Carter for the coin toss. Gentlemen, final set tiebreak to 10. Okay, we have live electronic line calling, video review as well. Do you have any questions about it? No. Okay. For the towel, Francis, you can get the white box in each corner and you can get the blue box. Blue? Yeah, blue. Okay. And just a photo after the toss. No questions? Your turn. Mark Edmondson. Wow. Hey, or Francis? Receive. Just the photo, please. That way, yeah.
Tiafoe won the toss, elected to receive. No problems really at either end at this time of day. The sun's moved over to the right-hand side of the screen. But that shadow across the court will prove a little tricky for the next 45 minutes or so. So we can take a closer look at both players. Jason Kubler, the 32-year-old qualifier from Australia, currently ranked 192 in the world, has been as high as 63 back in 2023. This is his 6th Australian Open main draw. Second round in 2023, his best result. Has won the doubles here in 2023. And he's had a long list of injuries, mainly the knee. Meniscus issues, 7 surgeries, 4 years where he can only play on clay. So it's great to see him back here via the qualifying. First time in 5 attempts he's made it through the qualifying to the main draw. And as we mentioned before, happened within an hour of his fiancée Madison Inglis, who also qualified through. She'll play her first round match against the fellow Australian Kim Birrell on Tuesday. So a great opportunity to be back on the big stage. 4th round at Wimbledon is his best Grand Slam result.
3 minutes.
Had a good ending to last year on the Challenger circuit, where he resurrected his ranking to get back inside the top 200. And at the other end, Frances Tiafoe, the 27-year-old from the US, birthday on Tuesday for him. Comes in as the number 29 seed. 3 titles to his name. US semi-finals on 2 occasions, the pinnacle of his career, both in 2022 and 2024. Played in Brisbane on the way here. Runner-up in Houston last year. He's got a great record. And 37th consecutive Grand Slam. Second only of active players to Jordan Thompson, the Australian, who's playing number 40. So, Ryan, that's a testament to the longevity. We'll get to his fitness in a moment, because he's been trying a few things differently coming into this season. But you know, he's a player who can certainly go into the second week and would be searching for another spot in the semi-finals.
2 minutes.
Well, one of his breakthrough tournaments was here at the Australian Open, where he made the quarterfinals. It wasn't in the last 4 years, but he is very familiar with these courts. He likes the faster conditions. He also likes the energy in the crowd. Obviously, this crowd will largely be pro-Australia, with Jason Kubler on the other side of the net. But, you know, if you look at the overall match performances for Tiafoe, Grand Slam level is where you usually get the best out of him. He shows up. The consistency throughout the year has always been a little bit of the question mark, but when he gets to these stages of the Grand Slams, he generally shows up. Things are going to be a little bit different here to start 2026. He's got a whole new coaching team and an entire new staff together, so it's going to be interesting to see how he starts the year off at the first Grand Slam of the year.
Leads the head-to-head, and will start a heavy favourite. Australian Davis Cup captain Wally Masur is courtside. Well, a good afternoon to you and Jason. It's heartwarming when you see a player who's battled injuries and keeps on fighting on and makes his way through qualifying. Didn't get a wild card, did it himself, and he gets an opportunity here. Good afternoon.
G'day, Dave and Ryan. Yeah, look, Coobs, those injuries started early too. He was a bit of a prodigy as a junior, and he was, you know, a legitimate baseliner. And for an Australian player, that's rare. He could play on clay, he could play on the slower surfaces, but that knee injury started at a young age. Maybe he had surgery a little too early. I mean, once they start taking stuff out of your knee, it can't really be replaced. And he sort of battled those knee injuries ever since. But he's a good player. He's technically very sound. We know he's won the doubles title here. He knows his way around the net. He knows how to transition. My big question mark for Coobs, we see the strapping on that left knee is hopefully it is okay. We know he got through qualifying. He did get a walkover in the last round of qualifying when blocks pulled out in the third set. But the big question for me is, does he have the firepower to trouble Tiafoe? One of the things I really like about Tiafoe is the way he holds his ground on a hard court. He's a very hard man to push around.
New coaching team for the American.
Mark Kovac's there. He's a longtime fitness coach. He played collegiate tennis and then was a part of a lot of different sports fitness programs. He was working for the NBA for a bit with basketball and doing some overall nutrition and biomechanics work. He's been around the block a few times.
So crowd filling into John Cain Arena. He has been doing a lot of work on off-court application. Frances Tiafoe felt like he had more to give there, needed to lose a little bit of weight. Been doing something called the 75 challenge, and he's gone the hard version, which involves drinking a gallon of water a day. And have a look at that water bottle. That it's a serious vessel that he's brought onto the court. He's got the normal ones, but the big one is so that he can drink a gallon a day. And water.
Yeah, pretty interesting. I've never seen anything quite like that in my life, but hey, if it's helping him with his overall nutrition and discipline, I think that, you know, that's where Tiafoe is looking to try and break new ground and seeing if he can really uncover all that potential.
So that's 75 hard. No alcohol. Workouts, of course. 2 a day. One's got to be outside. You have to read 10 pages of non-fiction every day. Take a progress picture.
Go for it, first ball.
But the big one that he's been working on is drinking a gallon of water a day, and that's going to continue throughout the tournament. So if he has to have bathroom breaks, you understand why. You're drinking that much fluid even when it's warm.
Well, they'll definitely be sweating out here. It's hot today.
First set.
So Kubler's going to get things underway
Jason
here.
Kubler to serve. Play.
You know, it's a difficult matchup early on in a Grand Slam, as Kubler coming through qualifying. As Wally was saying, he's already a very steady and consistent baseliner. He's a hard worker, a very tough out, and someone who's had success at the Grand Slams himself.
One thing that's new for Tiafoe, he's never faced an Australian at the Australian Open.
Well, that's a different sort of energy, especially as the crowd starts to get in that night session and the energy gets up. The Australians always love playing in front of this nighttime crowd, and with this 5 o'clock start, if they start getting later in the match, the crowd will, I'm sure, get more and more involved.
So Kubler holds comfortably, opening service game. Well, the condition's almost perfect, particularly once the court is in the full shade. And temperature is warm-ish, but on court here it's pretty comfortable, I guess.
Well, when the court is in that half shaded, half lit position, it can be a little tricky as you're moving side to side. The ball will be changing colors and getting that vision appropriate as it's in this area of the court and time where you have to be adjusting. And Tiafoe with a couple unforced errors early on, but only on the return game, so he's still doing fine, not down a break or anything that's a substantial deficit.
You got some shade down there, Wally, on the eastern side where the sun's still beating down on the spectators?
The sun sets to the west, as you know, Dave.
Frances
And I'm sitting on the
Tiafoe.
exact line of shade that the roof is giving me. So another foot to my left and I'm in the sun, which would be bad. Perfect conditions, though, for tennis. Not a breath of wind down here at court level. And the court would have soaked up a fair bit of heat over the course of the day, so pretty lively. I mean, Frances made some errors there. They're all long or wide, so that'll be the challenge, just hitting the ball with enough spin to cover it. Keep it in these early exchanges.
Wally, sometimes early on in a Jason Kubler match, you can tell if that knee's feeling a little bit ginger, if there's any inflammation in there after battling his way through qualifying. Are you seeing anything of note, or does he look all right?
Well, I do get a bit concerned when I see that strapping. I spoke to him after he got through that last round of qualifying, and he said he couldn't race to the net fast enough to shake the guy's hand as he was getting ready to retire. He was desperate to get that match over with, and he said he does suffer a bit of swelling post-match, but it's been pretty good of late.
Well, that's the problem with the meniscus, isn't it? You can trim it, you can shave it, you can clean it up, but you can't replace it. So some days it's worse than others. Some days it swells up and you don't really feel it that much.
Well, that inflammation, you know, inflammation is such a funny thing because it sounds like, oh, you should be fine. But when you get a lot of inflammation in any sort of area, it can be really painful. It can cause you to be very inhibited with your movement.
Particularly on this surface where the sliding is brutal.
Ryan, Frances took a little bit of time off at the back end of 2025. Was it, and Dave, you've discussed the routine that he's going through. It sounds a little bit monastic to me, but was it more of a reset for him, Ryan, or was there some injury issues or other things he wanted to address?
I think more of a mental reset, just having dealt with a long, tough season, trying to figure out a way to get the breakthrough in 2025. You know, obviously had a lot on his mind. It wasn't just one hire that he was able to change there. He got rid of longtime friend and assistant coach Jordi Arcanata. He got rid of his longtime physio, Brett Waltz. So it was a full, entire crew change for him, not just one person.
Was that poor performance by his own standards at the US Open that made him have some thoughts about what direction he wanted to go into? Did he want to just keep going at that level, or did he have more to give? Still 27 years of age, so young in tennis terms these days.
Good move there, getting up in the court, and that's when Frances is playing his best, when he uses that transition. He's got deadly power off the ground, but if he stays back there too long, the consistency can start to go. I love him moving up in the court and taking advantage of these short ball opportunities.
Not sure if I'm overreaching here, but that last wide backhand from Jason, he actually put the right foot across, had his back to the net. He didn't plant that left leg and play the open stance backhand. So I guess I'm just a little concerned that maybe he doesn't really want to power out of that corner on the left knee.
No problem that time, but something to keep an eye on, no doubt.
40-15.
As we said in the build-up, the playing on clay helps him a lot more, not having to get that pounding of the joints on the hard courts. But this is a great step in the backhand. I love him getting on the front foot there and using that body weight in transition.
Game, Kubler.
So Kubler holds.
Kubler leads 2 games to 1.
2-1 this opening set. Comfortable conditions for the players courtside at this time of day. Win predictor has Tiafoe 67% at the start of the match. Thought it could be a little higher than that given the trajectory, rankings, statistics.
I actually think it's more close to 50-50 than that.
Okay.
So we little disagreement there between us and the booth.
Well, that's good. Jason would be happy to hear that.
Well,
did you bump into him in the lift on the way in? I think you're a 50-50 chance here.
well, you know, it's going to be one or the other. He's got a big game.
We're on serve here, and when you have the big drinking cup and you've got a couple of little ones and that's still not enough, you go for the plastic cup as well. So a little confusion from Frances as to what to actually drink out of.
Yeah, it looks like a table after you finish a night out with some friends. You just wake up the next morning and you're like, there's a lot of cups on the table.
Well, he's banned the alcohol. That is still banned.
That's
so.
part of the hard 75.
Yeah.
Or 75 hard. I'm sorry, I got to get it correct.
A lot of the time, it's a mental thing, isn't it? It's just the application of doing something for that period of time. That you wake up every day, and every time someone suggests you're doing something that's not in the plan, and you say no, it's an affirmation that you're sticking to the goal you want to try and achieve. Ryan's a picture of fitness, Wally, but there might be something in that for you and I.
That's a stretch, calling me a picture of fitness these days.
Dave, I think our time has come and gone, mate.
Always room for improvement.
Well, if you look at where Tiafoe's at in his career, he's at the 29th seed coming in here, and he's usually close to the top 10, if not top 15 in the world. And he's kind of reached that stage where, you know, he's at the point where he's willing to try new things. You stay on a consistent trajectory and you do things the way you've been doing them for a long time. And eventually, if you get to a roadblock that you just can't seem to kick in, then that's when the creativity in the mind starts to take over. And I think that's where he reached at the end of last season, just thinking that the reset needed to happen and try something different.
Ryan, I think the game is so fast and furious these days, and the competition's so intense, such an international game. You know, you talk about the 75 hard, or you watch the players doing eye exercises. Whether they're hugely beneficial or not, what you just have to do is commit. You have to treat it like you're a boxer going into a bout. You just cannot leave anything on the table. So there's that movement once again. I just keep looking for the movement for Jason to that backhand corner. Is it powerful? Is it dynamic? Does he push hard out of that corner? Just trying to get a gauge on that left knee. But once again, it seemed like he was not willing to get behind the ball, just threw a racket out and played a pretty soft slice. So we'll see how that pans out over the course of this match and whether Frances makes that backhand a bit of a target.
That backhand cross-court rally when they're in it, Tiafoe is so consistent with that shot. I think that he would feel very confident in that rally, trying to force Jason out there. But for Kubler, he plays well on the faster surfaces as well. He had a great run at Wimbledon a few years ago, and he knows how to adjust his game. So even though the knee doesn't necessarily agree with the quicker surfaces, his game style, he can adjust and play a little bit more up in the court when needs to.
Midpoint there, Tiafoe was convinced it was going out. He just stopped and propped, and the ball dropped in. He had to keep going. And on their feet.
Well, how about this point? 15. Both guys hanging in there. And Kubler staying strong. You can see the energy. He wants to get that crowd up on their feet. He's going to use them to his complete advantage here. New coaching team, Andy Harris, former player, now coach of Jason Kubler. And those are the points early on in the match. He just establishes his resilience. And that's what you want to test out with Tiafoe, because that's always been the question with him. Can you be resilient as your opponent? Can you hang in there? We know the shot making. We know what he can produce with the magic, but it's that discipline, and that's all Kubler is about.
So stretched a little more, but still the whole 3-2 in favour of the Australian. is on serve in the opening set. A little bit going on here on Cain Arena. Well, absolute France in the chair.
Time.
So we had the supervisor come out and have a word to the chair umpire and have a word to Frances Tiafoe. I think it's about his water bottle or the water canister. It's enormous. Not sure if it's anything to do with the size. Might more be to do with if there's a logo or something on there. It's got some tape on it. But anyway, he's moved on. About to serve.
Well, Dave, size matters. Maybe that water bottle is bigger than what is legally permissible. I mean, it's almost like a tea urn.
I think it's more to do with this. It might have some sponsorship branding on it that's against the rules. Not sure why, because there's logos everywhere when a player comes out into the court, but maybe the water bottles you have to have unbranded or the AO official supplier. Been strong on serve. Both players have got a healthy first serve percentage. Kubler 80%, Tiafoe 71%. It's only dropped 2 points on serve, Tiafoe. So did Kubler actually. So they're both serving well on their first serves. 100% for Tiafoe when the second serve is required. So they're healthy early in this opening set.
Ryan, I don't know if you've practiced with Frances or played him, but he must be hard to read on that forehand wing because it's such a sort of an abbreviated swing, and then he just muscles through the ball. It's not like you get a lot of chance to read the takeaway or where he's going. Good redirection there.
Yeah, I know him well, and as you said, it's a very deceptive takeaway. He's kind of got a quick wrist action on it. He definitely has the ability to speed it up, and the disguise is hard to read. Great look here at the Kubler serve. I love that chest up on the follow through at the serve. I always pay attention to that when someone's hitting their serve, if they can keep that posture through the follow through. I think of Roger Federer with the way that he would follow through on his serve, and he would have that chest up and that shoulders broad position, which is exactly what Kubler has in the finish and why he's able to have consistent accuracy with that first serve.
So they've been good on serve, the Australian. Part of this opening set.
Kubler leads 4 games to 3.
The big forward's on his chain, on his shoes, on his bag. Some serious bling, that necklace. Big Ryan, have you got one of those?
I don't know that I can pull that off. It's not part of my persona, but Tiafoe, he leans into it. It's part of the presence of Tiafoe out there. Nice shot at Cain Arena here. Beautiful court.
.5:40 local time here in Melbourne. Nice time to be at the tennis. Huge crowd on this opening Sunday. Strong on serve, both players. The first serve so far in the earliest part of this opening set. Capacity crowds everywhere around Melbourne Park.
New balls here, 8th game. Kubler just having a quick chat with his corner there, trying to figure out a way to get into some Tiafoe service games. You know, Tiafoe, for as much energy he can put into the forehand, he always tends to like that side that goes to the right-hander's cross-court forehand, that whip across the body, especially when he's a bit nervous. That's his default. It's a beautiful serve there. When he's struggling with it, you'll see him come straight across the body. The follow through comes a little bit more at hip level rather than following through nicely and long, which is when he's playing confidently. You can see he's getting through the ball and through the court. That's exactly what Coach Andrew Harris was just saying. Keep penetrating that forehand corner. It's great to get that audio from the coach's corner now. You're thinking with his forehand is that he has the creativity, but if he doesn't have time, then he can get some mistakes out over there.
Well, again, the serve dominating. That's the storyline so far in this opening set. Kubler leads 5-4. So maybe the water canister's been put under the towel for now, and we've got the water bottles out. So that might be the situation with the big silver thing. He's got a couple of water bottles now, just the standard ones, which are not really that well welcome because there's a water dispenser down on the court as well. They're on serve in the opening set here. Frances Tiafoe, Jason Kubler, the Australian qualifier.
In the previous game, Jason was very aggressive with his court position. I think sometimes, you know, players, they tend to drop back, they tend to move forward, but sometimes they just need to do it a bit more in moderation. I mean, Jason made contact with a couple of serves inside the baseline. Just needs to strike a happy medium. But both players just having trouble putting any pressure on the return by virtue of not making returns. So that is the challenge. Do you try to catch fire in one game, or do you build pressure by just blocking, getting as many balls back as possible at this stage of a set?
Well, while you're absolutely correct, if you look at the first serve percentage for Tiafoe, he's around 70%. For Kubler, he's around 80%, and both guys are above 85% with the winning percentage behind the first serve. So it's been an absolutely serve-dominated match so far, and just got to try and find a way to make some headway on return.
Well, there's 2 returns in and 2 errors, but yeah, I think sometimes too when you're trying to make things happen, you're taking a good cut at the return, but you're not making it. The server just settles into a rhythm and he starts spot serving within himself. But if you make balls, just get bat on ball, get it back, put pressure on, then they start to strive for a little more, and they may miss a few first serves. So Kubler now, he's got the 15-30.
13.
That was interesting there. Kubler was really leaning toward the forehand side, expecting the Tiafoe was going to go after that tee serve, and Frances with a good mix-up. Lots of discipline there from Kubler. Just understanding the moment and the scoreboard pressure of knowing that he needs to make Tiafoe have to earn it. Doesn't need to do anything crazy here, just good depth, good discipline, and now he creates a set point here in what's been a very disciplined opening set for the Australian.
No break points faced by either player. First one's a set point for Kubler.
Well, Wally, as you said, just the pressure of making some returns and having to earn it. Obviously a missed opportunity there on the first set point, but does a good job to respond. You know, asking the question for a second time.
That was a big play from Tiafoe.
Just not quite enough on this approach shot. He made the right move, but looked like he slightly mishit it, giving Frances enough time to get over there, and just too many options on that passing shot. Frances actually passes better on the backhand side than he does the forehand side.
The strength and athleticism of Tiafoe have got him out of trouble. We saw a 2-10 serve out wide, that's strength. And then on the backhand pass in the previous point, and then the forehand, he just muscled up and he was quick to get back in the position. No substitute for that sort of strength and athleticism.
So saves a couple of set points. Levels it up to 5-all.
Well, that's a good response there. Obviously disappointing not to get the break and have a couple chances and really good looks at set points, but then gets that opening point in the service game. And I love the fire and the energy and response, just knowing that it's important that he doesn't have any lapse in concentration here.
40-15.
So Kubler maintains that scoreboard pressure, serving firstly, 6-5.
Kubler leads 6 games to 5.
Little slither of sunshine beating down on the eastern stand. The rest of the crowd in perfect comfort. Air-conditioned delights of Cain Arena.
Dave, that sun is just hitting my left leg and left arm.
Okay.
So I don't want to be a zebra. I'm just going to slide across one seat.
Have you got a spare seat where you'll be in the...
Well, I'll be in the Grand Slam supervisor's chair,
Okay.
so I hope they don't ask me for any rules adjudication. Guys, I was just going to say, you know, if you're Tiafoe's coaching corner, I don't think you're displeased, because he's locked in, he's respecting his opponent, he's trying to make things happen. And it's almost like if Frances could just let it happen.
Time.
Fans supporting the Australian Jason Kubler here on Cain Arena. It's been a good first set for the qualifier. 41 minutes, strong on serve, both players. Tiafoe saving 2 set points his last time up to the stripe. Has to do it all again here to send it to a tiebreak in this opening set.
Well, Wally, just as we were talking about that first serve percentage for Tiafoe, it's been dropping pretty quickly. Now he's down to around 60% from where he was at 70% only a few moments ago. So he's having a little bit of a hard time finding that first serve at the later stages. Are you seeing anything with the toss or him rushing or anything different now?
No, look, I was sort of looking for something, but, you know, maybe it just occurs to me that Jason had started to make a few returns, put a bit of pressure on him, so he's now striving for the free point, rather than just serving within himself. Good line, good length.
This one looked like it was going to be easy, but then in the end got pretty tricky, especially at this stage of the set.
Well, just as the serve was discussed, there's been some good ones from Tiafoe.
Yeah, 192. He's been striving for 210. So 192. Serve within yourself, hit your spots.
Seventh ace there, and we're off to a tie break. Opening set.
6 games all, tiebreak.
This is a massive tiebreaker here in the opening set. Kubler had those opportunities there at 4 games to 5 with Tiafoe serving a couple set points. Frances trying to get his year off to a good start after the way last season finished up. This is a big moment here. He doesn't want to find himself down in a hole against Kubler, who's coming off of 3 wins in qualifying already, playing confident tennis. So, Wally, that's exactly what I was talking about there a few moments ago, with Tiafoe's default being that forehand. And I'm not sure if you could see that there with the forehand getting really short with the follow-through, trying to saw off the finish.
Yeah, and look, that final ball there, he had a bit of height to work with. He was up in the court. I thought he was going to club that line, but
yeah,
as you suggested, his safety valve is to go cross-court. He's get out.
That's so good. I love the disguise on this. At the very last second, he goes to that slice grip, and Tiafoe, he wasn't able to get up there in enough time to do much with this ball, and it's a beautiful cross-court passing shot, getting the outside of the ball. Ball turns over nicely and earns himself the early mini break.
He was charging in, and for all money that it was going in.
Yeah, I love that play regardless, though. Just putting the pressure on and sending a message. You know, if you're Tiafoe and you have to hit a second serve later on in the tiebreaker now, that's going to be in the back of your mind. You might feel a little bit more inclined to do something more with it. Frances has got to lock in here and try and put some returns back in the court. Kubler's still doing really well behind his first serve. That's got to be the best point on return that Tiafoe's played the whole match, and big confident response there.
Takes the 2 points against the serve of Kubler.
Gee, he returned the compliment, didn't he? But executed it perfectly. And what a shot this is. So you see Kubler, he'll fall away to his left, virtue of the kick serve. I mean, you've got to recover. There is no way he can track that down. That is great execution right there, and good presence of mind from Tiafoe. That's great stuff there from Foe. I love the way he stayed positive here, even after getting down the mini break, and was nearly down 2 mini breaks with that ball just floating wide, but locks it in there on return and consolidates the mini break with a beautiful serve down the tee. That backhand return for Tiafoe is such a compact swing, and he's really able to go in either direction with it.
he can hold it to the last second. And as Wally was saying, pay attention in the corner of his eye, watching his opponent, and just with a quick flick of the wrist, direct it into a place where the opponent's not.
Tiafoe.
So the ebbs and flows of a tiebreak. Hey, gets it back on serve.
It's been a really high level tiebreaker. Both guys raising their level up a couple notches.
And, you know, everybody, a junior will focus on the final volley and the final forehand, but what a great return, you know, at this stage of a tiebreak. Just found the middle of the racket, perfect amount of spin, perfect amount of flight, got him into this situation. There is no substitute for making balls at this stage of a set. Good from Kubler just to keep it at the 1 mini break. Been so many ebbs and flows throughout this tiebreaker. He gives himself a fighting chance here.
2 serves to come though from the American. Save 2 set points during regular play. Yeah, he's got a couple, 1 serve to come. It's a good escape really for Tiafoe after saving the set points. Clambers his way back to take the opening set. 7-4 on the tiebreak.
That's a really good sign there from Tiafoe, especially the way that he fought off those 2 set points. They've continued to get better and better as that tiebreaker went along. I love the way he put that pressure on the serve of Kubler. He was struggling to get in any service games for Kubler throughout the majority of that set, and then as that tiebreaker started to commence, he just really locked it in. He kicked up that concentration, another gear. We take a look by the numbers here. Both guys did really well behind their serve. Frances with 7 aces, and both guys doing really strong behind their first serve points won at 80%. The key here was second serve points won. Kubler was up around 80%, and then after that tiebreaker, Frances was continuing to put returns back in the court. And as you can see, 20 winners to 7 winners in favor of the American. He's clearly the aggressor in this match, dictating play. So it's really been on Tiafoe's racket. And Kubler's going to try and look to play a little bit more aggressive in the critical moments, as he would feel like he had a little opportunity slipped away with those 2 set points.
First set highlights. Serve dominated early. Neither player under any real duress on serve. If they didn't have a second serve, they were superb on that as well, and it's loosened up a fraction. Tiafoe did a good job to hang in there, save those 2 set points, and then just stretched away. So opening set to 29th seeded Frances Tiafoe.
Guys, I think if you're the coaching camp of either player, you're not unhappy. I mean, Jason played a good set of tennis. He did nothing wrong. And Frances, you felt like throughout the course of that set, he had a gear to go to, and he found it at the back end of that tiebreak. He was just maybe pushing, striving that little bit.
I'm with Ryan the importance of the first set. I think for Jason Kubler, turn to this level up against a very experienced opponent, the crowd can really get involved. It was set up. You know, the Tiafoe sometimes can get a little frustrated with himself. Certainly doesn't mind getting his shirt off, that's for sure. A lot of players will just take the one shirt off and put the new one on, but Frances is happy to just sit there with the shirt off, and yeah, fair enough.
He did that already once at 4-3, so
it pays to advertise.
Well, Wally, if you had the guns like that, you might find your way into the shade and the sun over there, right?
Oh yeah, I'd be courtside with my shirt off all day long.
Well, we'll pay to see that.
Time.
Well, we all remember the days when we had abs. Now we've just got one ab.
It's a keg. It's a keg. But I'm telling you, I was, you know, as I say, if I'm in Frances' corner, I'm pretty happy with his dedication, his respect for his opponent, and his effort in that set, because it wasn't quite flowing for him. You know, he's getting a little bit frustrated with his lack of returns, but the energy was there and the body language was good, and it's so important in a best-of-5 set match. You've got to show your opponent you want it, and you want it badly. Let's not forget, he is the top 10 player. He's the reputation. And, yeah, I think he'll get a little better from here. We'll see.
Got the advantage of serving first here.
Well, this next 15 minutes is extremely important for Kubler to try and keep that scoreboard pressure on.
Love 15. Love 30.
He's heavily favouring T on the juice, and it's almost 50-50 on the ad.
Love the insights there. These guys, they'll have an iPad there courtside showing the percentages of where someone's targeting. And as he said, he's heavily favoring the deuce side on the tee.
And that's what I like to see. That's 188 and accurate. And then when it hits the court, it's sliding away. We'd all love to serve 210 on the red line. But serve within yourself and hit your spots.
Well, that's tough after the coaching corner told him to favor the tee, and then he goes wide twice for the ace. That's why it's tough to step in.
from love 30. Tiafoe takes the opening game of the second set.
That's really well done there from love 30 down and continuing to show that confidence. And, you know, when you get to these crucial moments of the match, confidence is so key. You have to try and stay aggressive. You have to try and dictate play as best you can. And usually the fortune favors the bold in those situations. The guy who's willing to step up and take charge oftentimes has a substantially higher chance of success. And Frances was able to do that throughout, especially there in key moments in the latter stages of the first set. Let's take a look here at the contact hit point for the tiebreaker, the rallying points for Kubler. On the points that he won, you can see he's up near the baseline. Those red dots, the ones where he loses as he gets behind that Melbourne sign. It's really difficult. Take a look at Tiafoe. Look at all the yellow dots up inside the court, those hit points when he's inside the court, controlling play. That's what we're looking for there if you're in the Tiafoe camp. So really good stuff there in transition, and love the inside showing the aggressive play from Tiafoe.
Interesting how I'm sitting right behind the Tiafoe camp, and yes, they've got the iPad. Yes, they're looking at the stats and the patterns. But sometimes I think stats, they inform you of the past. They don't predict the future. I think you've got to be a little bit careful how much information you give your player.
Do you work in finance, Wally?
Well, I know some players, they love it. You know, they love the information. You know, I guess I just came from an era where we didn't have a lot of that going on, and sometimes I think it stifles a little bit of your own imagination and feel for the game. You got to expect the players at this level have got all points of the court covered.
Well, I think the other part of that, Wally, is just looking at the timing of when that information was delivered. He was up love 30 in the game and clearly making his way into that service game at Tiafoe, obviously in the game at 4-5 where he didn't break and had those 2 break points that were ultimately set points. He was in both rallies. He was in a position where he worked his way in the point. He had 1 point in transition. He just didn't do enough with the approach shot. So hindsight's always 20/20, but in retrospect, if you're Andrew Harris, you know, jumping in there at love 30, sometimes you just want to let the guy roll with the positive momentum forward.
Kubler. 1 game.
Summer fashion on show here. I quite like the Tiafoe kit, little splash. And also, I'm a fan of the fuchsia as well, Ryan, on Jason Kubler.
Yeah, Kubler, he's ready to rock out there. He's, you know, you gotta feel confident out there. It's all important to feel confident.
That'd be fuchsia, wouldn't it, Wally?
It's fuchsia, and Dave, I can see you stepping out off the plane in Bali in that outfit that Foe's wearing.
No doubt about that. It's more a sort of Amalfi field for me, but
Ryan, it's so interesting with the serve, you know, at the end of the day, your service motion doesn't change greatly. It might change a little over the course of your career. The thing that changes is your ball toss or your attitude. Frances serves awfully well when he keeps that ball toss a little back in his stance and serves within himself. When he strives for power, He throws it well out in front and flattens it out and loses all his margin. That was pretty good there at 208, but you know, it's just interesting the way he approaches that serve, because he's awfully good from the back. He just doesn't want to or let Jason get a look at too many second serves.
Yeah, and that's always the thing for him, because when he does miss first serves, they tend to come in bunches, and he will have several games throughout the set where he's in dominant form, and he'll have the one game where he misses 4 or 5 first serves. It was a good play there. I like the move in transition and being brave. Had a good opportunity on the previous point, just caught the tape, but continues to back himself and gets the payoff. As you said, Wally, in these moments where it gets a little tricky, sometimes it's the toss. It tends to creep out in front a little bit more. You have to keep yourself in the same rhythm. The tendency is to speed up and want to try and erase the deficit quicker. You've got to try and just slow things down a bit.
More on that uniform, the colours for Tiafoe, inspired by the flag of Sierra Leone. Parents immigrants to the US, and the blue, green and white of the Sierra Leone flag gets my tick. Important, I'm sure, for everybody.
Ball.
I love that return there from Kubler. A little bit of change up and getting the ball up on the forehand of Tiafoe. Smart change up, backed way up on the return, lifted the ball. You can see the court's now completely covered in shade, which means it typically slows down a bit as the temperatures drop, and now he gets another break point.
Ball. Kubler. Ball.
It's a double fault in the break, the first we've seen. So Kubler with the break, 2-1, this opening set. We talked about the 15-minute try, and so it's been a good start for Kubler.
Well, just the consistency of the pressure finally pays off there at 4-5. He had those set points and he couldn't convert. Then he has the love 30 early on in the first game for the second set. Continues on with another love 30 there. It ultimately pays off with getting the double fault on break point. Anytime that you're up against it so many times, it really is just tough to stave off that many chances when you're at a deficit. Kubler eventually gets the payoff. Now it's about seeing if he can play with the lead with the same sort of composure and conviction on serve he's had throughout.
Had a couple of chances in the opening set, Jason Kubler, to break the Tiafoe serve. There were set points as well. Wasn't able to get it done, and then Tiafoe raced through the tie break. 7-4, but he's got a break here. Tiafoe, good record when he wins the opening set. Grand Slams 8-2. He's going to have to work his way back into this set. New racket for Kubler.
The new balls here. A lot of times when there's new balls, players elect to change rackets just to get the right tension and play with a new ball that will fly a bit more.
Just to clarify that previous stat, that's last year. This year since 2025, Grand Slam matches. There's an incredible stat about Djokovic on that first set. I'm going to find it.
Well, Kubler needs to find a first serve here, facing left 30, trying to consolidate the break. Yeah, it's so tricky. You spend over an hour and 10 minutes trying to find that break, and you finally get it, and there's that bit of reprieve, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're quickly facing 3 break points down of your own.
So Ryan, I know this is a big thing in the modern game. Well, it's been around for a while now. You change rackets with the new balls, but you're just banging the strings there. He served 2 double faults, one of them by about 2 feet. One backhand just fell off his racket about 3 inches below the height of the net. I reckon not every racket's weighted and balanced the same, but they don't feel the same. Sometimes the racket just betrays you till you play a few games and get used to it. I would always change rackets when I'm returning. I mean, that racket just did not feel comfortable in his hand.
Well, you're down there now completely in the shade. How much does the temperature feel different in the shade compared to the sun?
Yep, big time. The heat has gone out of the day. The court will probably still retain a bit of heat for a little while, but have you noticed now the errors are coming into the net? I think both players have to really respect. They have to respect the dropping ball. Pretty handy pass there from Kubler. Not sure I'd be coming in cross court in that situation, but even in the previous game, Frances had a backhand that it had reached the apex of the bounce and then it dropped and he hit a flat shot, and you're just not going to get the same energy out of the ball that you would have gotten maybe 10-15 minutes ago. So just a little adjustment the players need to make right here.
Let. First service.
Well, in the first set, for much of it, most guys couldn't buy a first serve lost point or first serve 1 point. Let's look at the break right back percentage of points. The Frances Tiafoe, 25% of the time he gets broken, he breaks right back.
Great job defending middle there, mate. Great job. Come on.
Advantage, Tiafoe.
Serving. Tiafoe, little wave of the racket. So after breaking back, holds 3-2. That canister's definitely been put on ice, hasn't it? The towel is over the top of it and it's not in operation.
Yeah, I think that canister has just been suspended for a bit. He's got the bottles out there and staying hydrated. Looks to be settling in nicely. You know, you can tell when Tiafoe is retaining stress, and you can tell when he's feeling uncomfortable out there. Looks like he's settling into this tournament, settling into this match.
Time.
Statisticians will tell you that you win the first set. You obviously got an advantage, although over 5 sets sometimes can even itself out. But Novak Djokovic, the master of the first match, first set win in Grand Slams when he won the first set, disregarding mid-match retirements, 337-6 in Grand Slams when he won the first set. Like, if you're on the other end of that, you know you've got to produce. Stan Wawrinka did it 3 times. Rafa Alcaraz and the great Jürgen Meltzer was the other one that got a win over Novak after he won the first set. That's one of my favourite stats.
Yeah, I love that.
That is ridiculous.
Just a few signs for me that Frances is winning the physical battle. Obviously still very close on the scoreboard. But he hit more winners in that first set. He's making things happen. He just hits the ball with a bit more venom, which means Jason's just got to work that a little bit harder in every ball in the rally just to get behind it. Just a few signs for me that the weight of shot of Frances is paying some dividends mid-rally.
Yeah, overall, you can tell when they are set up with the ball, Tiafoe can definitely create more power and life behind the ball.
Let. Second. Let. Second.
That's great stuff there from Tiafoe. And I love the way he's staying in this rally. His tendency when he was less confident is when he was on the move, he'd try to go for broke and see if he could get out of that rally with a screaming winner. And that occasion, showing that discipline, showing great legs, earning himself a really crucial opportunity to go up a set and a break.
I'm not saying it's imperative, but it's imperative that Jason Kubler holds serve here. I'm just looking a little heavy in the legs, not getting up and over all the serves that he was in that first set. Straining a few times when he's reaching out to that backhand wing. He is working hard. He's got to stay level on the scoreboard here.
Yeah, and you can feel the presence of Tiafoe growing as this match is carrying on, that confidence. It looks like the walk that Tiafoe that we've seen up there at the top of the game. He has this sort of way about him, a big presence, a big personality. What a return here at deuce, catching it out in front. All Kubler can do is watch it go by.
So Tiafoe gets the break. Feels crucial in the second set. Up a set and a break.
That's incredible stuff there. That's the ball that we would see the Tiafoe of old, the Tiafoe of 2025. He would go for a continental grip, try to completely slap a winner. That time he plays the slice back. Let's look at the percentage of serves for Tiafoe over 210. 28% now. It tells you that he's leaning on that first serve, that flat serve, consistently. He's going after it a bit more. He's keeping that first serve percentage up around 65%. And that's pretty high for a guy who's going very aggressive.
One thing that was sort of noticeable down here at court level, you know, Kubler's got a great service motion. He puts the ball in the right spot every time, but the legs just didn't seem to be there. And I don't know if you picked up there, but, you know, he was missing some first serves by big margins. That just wasn't happening in the first set. There were just some signs of fatigue. And you've got to remember, he's been having knee surgery since his teens. So it's been such a case of managing the knee as opposed to doing all of the work in the preseason to become bigger, better, stronger over a period of years. I mean, most of his time has been spent rehabbing after injury or surgery or inflammation. So it's just, he's dynamic and he's a good athlete, but the endurance maybe just not quite there.
Frances, I think, thought that ball was going long. He was just watching it, thinking he'd overhit it.
13, 15.
Drops in and wasn't back in the court. Take a look at Frances here. After he hits this ball, he just stays. He doesn't realize that this is actually going in the court. So he's not back in the court. Kubler's been daring him to hit that wide serve for a while now.
Oh. 14, 30. Yes.
I'm not saying Kubler's fatigued, but if Frances just recognises if that's just a three-quarter heavy ball into the corner, just make Kubler move a couple more times at this stage of the match. You break it right open.
Well, the other thing is that you feel that accumulation of pressure on the side. When you feel someone like Frances is growing in confidence, you just feel that pressure when you're defending to do that much more with the shot. And a lot of times you can make some mistakes in earlier stages of the match you might not have, just out of fear and respect for what's going to happen on the other side of the net. Well done there.
Yeah, he got a little tight. Tiafoe 5-2. Handy looking scoreline for the American.
Okay, John Cain Arena, welcome to day one of the Australian Open. Oh, the boys are back. Look at the back of the screen. Great to have you all here. Perfect, there you are. Oh, a little bit quiet, though, so of course it's not much of a noise. So on the count of three, KCA, let's make some noise, shall we? 1, 2, 3, what you got?
Time.
And then I'm always going to ask twice. 1, 2, 3, what you got? Thanks.
Slice if you got it there in the backhand exchange.
Come on, Jason. Let's go, mate.
So Kubler here, serving to stay in this second set.
15.
Talked about that 15 minutes. It's extended a little bit further than that, Ryan. 40 minutes this second set. Kubler got their first of the service breaks. Tiafoe struck straight back and then got another break.
Well, there was an obvious disappointment on the side of Kubler when he wasn't able to hold on to that break. Obviously, he had those 2 set points in the first set as well, and it just felt like after knocking on the door and finally breaking through, that immediately getting back down and being on serve and now ultimately down a break, the momentum, Tiafoe has been able to complete control of it.
14.
Jason Kubler. It's a good time to the service game to love.
Tiafoe leads 5 games to 2.
Hey, there's still plenty of this match left, mate. There's still plenty of this match left. Be tough as fuck here. Come on, let's go.
Come on. Here you go. Lock it down, Jason.
he did all the work. Kubler had completely gone off to his right. The court was wide open.
No, 15.
Sometimes you see a bit too much space. Watch Kubler, he takes off. He has to guess based on these positions he's in, and he's leaning to the right. It's just like a goalie in soccer. You dive one way and he misses the other way. Well, as Frances is trying to serve out this set, the importance of making that first serve. We saw a second ago he was able to get a second serve points won, but before that point was only 10%, now up to 18%. So when he misses that first serve, Kubler's been finding a way through most of these points.
He's 2 of 11 on that second serve.
Well, now 3 for 12, but 2 for the last 2, right? Yeah. These last 2 points, he's been able to survive it.
But I think that just the way the match is now, I mean, I think Frances, he can just approach this, just play hard court tennis, but with a clay court mentality. He's winning the physical battle. He doesn't have to hit a winner on the third shot. He can just extend the rallies just a little bit. He's just taking a little piece of Kub's shot by shot.
Kubler just backing off those second serve returns a bit, and that's the key thing here. We saw it in the first set tiebreaker, and now we're seeing it in this pivotal 10th game. Excuse me, 9th game. Get my math correct.
I mean, there it is again, 212 on the first serve. It's flat, it's hard, 171 on the second. I mean, just ease up. Even go a heavy kick first serve, get a forehand off the next ball.
Well, as you said, not keeping that first serve percentage up. That second serve only 124. Just putting it in the box, nothing on it.
I mean, 212 is sort of, it's not pushing the envelope. He's got a few more Ks in him, but it's like trying to drive your car on the red line.
Yeah, 88 Ks different between first and second serve.
But it's that ability to get that ace that keeps a player feeling that that's the way forward. But he's putting himself under pressure for no real reason. He's physically got this match.
Well, this is where it starts to get a little bit tricky. I feel like this last finishing shot's all but a formality, and then all of a sudden you mistime it. And now you're quickly back to deuce. Kubler still feels like he's got a fighting chance.
Thank you. Advantage, Tiafoe.
10th ace of this set, 17th of the match. Brings up the 4th set point.
It's interesting is that you talk about the next evolution, you know, the rededicating himself to the sport, new personnel. I haven't seen one first serve volley point or maybe three-quarter get in quick. No real change-up. It's kind of more of the same.
That is a stroke of bad luck from Tiafoe and a stroke of great luck from Kubler. Not only did he mishit it off the bottom of the frame, but he also got the net on top of it, and there's nothing Tiafoe can do other than watch.
So Kubler saved 4 set points here. Now, big break point opportunity for the Australian.
Well, he hadn't guessed the right side. I should say calculated guess, just paying attention to the ball toss, and he gets this ball in the middle of the strings. You've got to try and find a way to put that ball back in the court.
I was always taught the answer to a drop shot is a drop shot. Not necessarily, this was not a drop shot, but it was awfully short. But have a look at this for feel on the run. Beautiful. Cuts across the ball, sliding away with every revolution.
It's so difficult to take the pace off the ball like that when you're running full speed forward. So really, really skillful shot there. But he's really relying heavily on this first serve to bail him out. When he lands the first serve, he's getting the free point, and he's having to counteract that with a low first serve percentage. So it's definitely rolling the dice here.
He wasn't trying to go that deep. He got fucking lucky there. Stick in. He's tight, mate. Stick with it. Come on.
Well, it took a little longer than expected for Tiafoe. 5th attempt, set point, he gets it, takes a 2-set to love lead.
Well, both sets 51 minutes, but the second one had a lot of those crucial games. It was Kubler who struck first, getting the break, and then Tiafoe with the mental toughness there, which is great to see from the side of the American, those who've been looking forward to seeing those changes in his game, trying to pay dividends, and he steps up here, particularly on the first serve points won, 78%, doing really well behind the second serve points won. Kubler down at 38%, which means he was winning 62% of the return points. But this was all about the timing of when he was landing those first serves. The percentage was dropping, but then every opportunity that Kubler had to get ahead, it seemed like Tiafoe would erase it with a big serve. So it was all about the pressure points and the timing. And again, Tiafoe, much the aggressor with 19 winners to opposed to just 7 on the side of Kubler. So for the Aussie, you've got to step up and play a little bit more forward in the court, or else this could be your last set of tennis here at the Australian Open.
And those 12 aces, pivotal, as you mentioned, coming at good times, a lot of the time, saving the break points, dropped that opening service game in the third game of that set. Broke straight back and was able to get the Kubler break in the sixth game. He looked in command the whole way, but Kubler just fights back enough just to keep in touch, and that'll keep his spirits high enough as they come into the third set. So Frances Tiafoe, 29-seeded American, into the quarterfinal here in 2019, where he met his match against Rafael Nadal, twice a semi-finalist at the US Open. Looking to get himself back into the world top 10 in 2026. He has been there before, back in 2023. You kind of feel, Ryan, that Jason Kubler, the Australian, he's hanging on, he's doing a great job, but the damn wall might break here if Tiafoe lets loose in this final set.
Well, both guys have had opportunities, but you can tell the experience on the side of the American. Kubler had those chances in the opening set and then was up a break in the second set in the early stages, and Tiafoe, just when he was up against it, he was able to stay aggressive and stay true to his game style.
That said, Wally, he showed enough Jason Kubler in the second set that he's not totally out of it. He can hang in there.
He's a really good match player and he's a great competitor. The only thing that really concerns me is just the physicality of the match as we go on. I mean, obviously to win from 2 sets to love down is a huge ask, but against Frances, who just hits a bigger ball, you know, Ryan's highlighted the extra winners that he's hit. That's the question for Kubes now. Does he step it up, make a few more unforced errors, try to take it on? That's a difficult assignment when you're down 2 sets to love and not brimming with confidence. But I tell you what, if I'm sitting in Frances's camp and I had an opportunity to talk to him right now, it's a hell of a backhand there from Jason. But I would say, look, you hit 19 winners in that second set, but you made 19 errors to do it. So let's just take a bit more of a clay court mentality. Let's hit our 19 winners. Let's make 11 unforced errors and force him into error the other 8 times. Just take a slightly different mentality. I mean, Frances's physicality is a massive, massive weapon. And sometimes he just pulls trigger a little early, or he's not willing to fight. He has fought well on a couple of occasions and dug a ball back with a slice, but it's almost like he doesn't want to explore that parameter of his game. The other thing too is, like, let's see a few change-up first serves and maybe just serve volley every now and then when you're up in the count. Don't put yourself under pressure, but keep working on other tangents to your game.
Good 1-2 punch there from Kubler, taking advantage of the short ball. And yeah, Wally, as you said, you know, in the Tiafoe camp, you're just looking for ways to create consistency. And at times when you're going that big and that aggressive, sometimes you'll get the payoff, other times you won't. And if you're trying to be in the top 10 in the world, top 5 in the world, you got to have a baseline that's a little bit more sustainable, a little bit more repeatable. That's what we see at the very top of the game.
Yeah, and that's what he should be striving for, isn't it? He's a top 10 player. He's been in the semi-finals twice of the US Open, and, you know, he can win a slam. You know, can he win a slam? Yeah, well, that's what you've got to strive for. You know, Guillermo Vilas, you're probably a little too young to remember him, Ryan, but great clay courter, obviously. He said to me, on clay, you haven't won until your opponent knows he's lost. So that's sort of the Rafa mentality, isn't it? You're like a python, you just squeeze the life out of your opponent. I think if Frances could just adopt a little bit more of that mentality and, you know, the physicality that he possesses, just bring that to the table every now and then, you know, at certain times of the match, I think it would be beneficial.
50 love.
Couple of great forehands there. In other words, just think heavy, not hard all the time.
40-15. You.
Oh, that was a wind-up.
Well, case in point right there, right, Wally, when you're looking at him building the point that way, he's got Kubler moving side to side, and then rather than electing to try and play a safe shot to get back in the point, you see the full Hail Mary attempt, and that's what you're looking for if you're the dominant player, and just seeing that breakdown. And it's not just a breakdown physically, it's also a mental checkout when you hit a shot on the run like that. So that's what we're looking to see.
Come on, back it, mate.
And Ryan, we're not just talking about Frances winning this match. We're talking about Frances developing a mentality and a game style to threaten the very best players in the world. You're not going to step up to the plate and strike 19 winners against Carlos Alcaraz. You know, and that's what he's got to be striving for. How am I going to compete with the very best players in the world? How am I going to win a slam?
Well, those very best, there's a psychological dominance over their opposition. They put you in a hopeless feeling on the other side of the net.
Yep.
40-15.
Doing what he needs to do at the moment to hang in here, Jason Kubler. Leads 2-1, third set.
Here, we have 1 minute silence.
So you can see that heavy ace count for Tiafoe.
Time.
Well, he gets so many free points on that serve. He's got a lot of power up there. When he does hit the target, it's virtually unreturnable.
Huge crowd in attendance. In fact, the first day session attendance is in 73,235. It's a record for Sunday. We've only had 2 of those, so 58,000 was the record in 2024, but it's the biggest day session attendance in tournament history. So it beats the middle Saturday of 2019, pre-COVID, 68,883. So what a day, 73,235 here on the opening day of the Australian Open 2026. That's a lot of people.
Well, Coops is airborne as he hits that forehand. He has decided on return, maybe I just got to roll the dice rather than get involved in these extended heavy rallies.
Yeah, that's one he'll want back. It was a good point for him to get back into the rally, and just a routine backhand miss in the net. You've got to try and continue to ask the question.
Again, the big serve for the big foe. 22 aces now for the match.
Well, when he's taken the racket out of your hand on so many occasions with 22 aces, when you do get into the rally, it's crucial not to give away free donations.
They've just been sprinkled through, haven't they? The magic of Tiafoe.
And we talk about pressure and the accumulation of pressure and how it affects your opponent. Whenever you are in the service corner of Tiafoe, if you feel comfortable behind the baseline points, if you feel like you're getting some help, it makes you that much more relaxed when you're serving because you feel this belief behind your second serve. And we saw in the second set he was struggling behind his second serve, winning just 4 of 15 second serve points in the second set. Now he's up to 50%, which is a lot better number. That's helping him overall with the first serve as well.
was a test of patience, wasn't it? Both ends.
15-13.
That's a really good job, as you said, showing the patience and discipline for Kubler. That's a critical moment. 23-shot rally, and he was up against it. Can he fight his way and claw his way back from this love 30 deficit?
Obviously, the win predictor would be heavily in favour of Tiafoe as we speak. 2-all here with a 2-set love lead. And I'm assuming he'll get through this in a fashion, but I don't know what you think, Ryan. I just think there's... There's just a level of execution that he's going to have to find pretty quickly. Just the sprinkling of errors. The first serve percentage, the fact that he's not winning the majority of points on his second serve. I mean, we're talking about a seeded player. We're talking about a guy that's really good on this surface. And maybe a win in the first round, or if he gets through the first couple of rounds, his draw is reasonably favourable. If he gets through this, will be just the fillip he needs. But yeah, just not quite where he needs to be.
So Tiafoe gets the break. Chances increase significantly on win predictor. 3-2. What is win predictor telling us, Ryan? It'd be
I've got
high 90s.
95% is what I've got, which
yeah.
is a strong number there. And Tiafoe, when he gets that break in hand, a lot of times the confidence grows. And you know, I've got to agree with Wally here. You know, this just is a situation. It's not a knock on Kubler, but if you just look at the numbers, you know, he hasn't been a consistent top 50 player. I don't think he's been inside the top 50 in the world, and just gives Tiafoe a few too many opportunities to get away with some loose mistakes, as we saw 19 unforced errors in the second set. When you face top opposition, the higher seeds, that's just too many freebies that you're going to have to answer the question for. He's been able to claw his way out of some holes here. Those guys at the very top, you know, the opportunities that you're given, it's just not that many.
Two sets in hand. Now a break for Frances Tiafoe. Keeps barreling down those aces. It's going to be a difficult task here for the Australian Jason Kubler. Crowd not going anywhere, nor will they, because Venus Williams is up next here on John Cain Arena.
Better feet on that one. Lots of little dancing steps just to make sure he was completely under the ball.
I like the way that he's... Go, sorry,
no, I was just going to say, you know, when a player's in good form and when they're executing well, they don't make a variety of errors. You know, and when they do miss, they don't miss by much. And there's patterns to their play that are sort of perfect. And I'm just, you know, I guess I think of a Spanish clay court, for example. Now, I'm not suggesting Tiafoe is ever going to be a Spanish clay court. If he can just adopt a little bit of that mentality, I think he becomes a 20% better player.
So comfortable service game for Tiafoe. Edges closer to the finish line here.
Yeah, and he's done a good job there getting through without facing any trouble. He's been pretty consistent on serve throughout. And look, there's been opportunities for both guys throughout this match. Even though it's 2 sets to love and a break, it hasn't been that straightforward, but it's the pressure points won that have been such an important part of this. 33 on the side of Tiafoe compared to just 15 on the side of Kubler. Over double the amount of pressure points won for this match. And that's been the story here, as both guys have had chances, but one has been converting.
You know, when you look at that, he had those 2 set points, Kubler in the opening set. Exchange breaks in the second, and whilst Tiafoe had the 4 set points that he wasn't able to convert, he did save 2 break points in that service game before finally converting. So indicative of when the big point's been played. Tiafoe's been the one. Nice catch at the net. It was a nice moment last night in the opening ceremony with Federer, and they brought the ball kid back for that little slice and the one-handed catch. And the ball kid returned, now a man.
I love that. That was a viral moment. I think everybody saw that clip.
There's a tournament somewhere. You've got a much better knowledge than me and memory of these things, but you don't have to be a kid to be a ball kid.
No, you can be a full-on adult and be a ball person. I think that they say person now just to include the variance of age range, people that want to be out there lending a hand.
We're exclusive kids here.
I think
Australian Open. I'd love to see a 75-year-old ball person, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't know.
There'd be a chance for me.
In this heat? I don't know. I mean, you had some athleticism, so maybe you could jump across the court from side to side.
Not now.
Yeah, he's turning up the heat now. He wants this double break.
30-40.
And that's so important here. When you get that double break, it just takes that pressure off. You always feel like when it's only one break, you're a little bit of a mental lapse away, but this feels like a virtual match point.
He's raised the level, there's no doubt about that. Frances Tiafoe, the double break, he'll come back and he'll serve for the match. Well, the water bottle's the canister's made a reappearance from underneath the towel.
Maybe the water bottle's feeling safe now that the match feels comfortable and it's popping its head back out from under the clouds.
Hasn't been used though, and the empty bottles are accumulating significantly at the feet.
Well, he's had to put some work in. You know, this has been a straight sets performance, but it does not seem as easy as the score would indicate. Had to save 2 set points in the opening set. Was down a break in the early stages of the second set. This could have easily been 2 sets the other way.
So Tiafoe, ball in hand, serving for the match here.
So the shape of the forehand on those the last point of the previous game, and then right there, I mean, that's spot on. It doesn't have to be any better than that. Work your opponent over. I mean, use the width of the court. If I'm his coaching staff too, tomorrow you get out on the practice court and you just settle this serve down. That's impressive, but if you're going to be serving a lot of second serves against the better players going forward, trouble. Just work on rhythm and hitting your spots. I mean, that's a big miss right there. That's 6 inches below the top of the net.
Well, if you're trying to build confidence, you've got to look at the way that he's been able to make some of those on some of those crucial points. And now he sets up triple match points here. So for all this to happen, he's facing a straight sets win. First serve and volley there, Wally?
Well, why not? Why not? No, but I'd love to see him throw a few of those in, you know, when the scoreboard's in his favour throughout the course of the match. I mean, it's the element of surprise. I mean, he was looking for a grandstand finish there. That's fine.
So Tiafoe gets the opening round win. It was expected. He was pressed, though, by the Australian Jason Kubler, but in the end, it's the big foe in straight sets.
Underarm serve your boy like that. You did it in Houston, mate. I know. That's why I stood up.
So 7-6, 6-3, 6-2, 2 hours and 13 minutes.
Well, he will be very happy to have made his way through that. It was very tricky in the early goings. He had to answer some questions. First slam win with the new team here by his side, and that will feel like a big, big, big relief. And it's great to see the big smile back.
The Argentine Francisco Comisano will be his next round opponent. He defeated the American qualifier Patrick Gibson 4 sets. So that will be the assignment for Tiafoe.
Well, you can see the mutual respect between these two. A great handshake there. He has all the respect for Kubler, as we all do. The knee surgeries, the resilience, the way he's made his way. He's a true professional. And for Tiafoe, you know, he's going to tip his cap to somebody like Kubler, who's made his way through qualifying, continued to fight his way back. But he's all smiles.
Just about ready to join Wally Masur, who's made his way out onto the court. can go down there now. Wally Masur with our winner, Frances Tiafoe.
Well, Frances, congratulations. Comfortable in the end, too physical in that third set, but for a set and a half there, a real arm wrestle. You saved a couple of set points in that first set, and Jason was pretty impressive.
Yeah, Jason's just a good player. Obviously, injuries have hindered him quite a lot, but his ability is great. Obviously, he moves very well, really good backhand, and can get in great serve rhythm. First rounds are never easy, so happy to get out of a little bloodbath there for a first set and a half, and thanks, guys. Thanks for coming out. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Frances, I was just going to say, it's a beautiful evening in Melbourne. This is a great stadium. This is a great crowd. Nice way to play a first-round match. Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty packed here. Thanks for coming on a Sunday. You guys could have been boozing. We decided to come watch some tennis. You guys are probably boozing and watching tennis. So thanks for coming out once again. And, AO 2026, off to a good start.
So you took a slightly different approach to the back end of 2025, a few new personnel. Is there something specific you're looking to change at this stage of your career, or is it more a holistic approach?
Yeah, it's just a day-to-day process for me. It's trying to get the best out of me each and every week. And just trying to be a better player than I was the day before and just go about it the right way. But ultimately, I'm just happy to get my first round in, and that's all that matters.
Frances, I just want to ask you, coming up next is Venus Williams at 45 years of age. Isn't that absolutely extraordinary?
45 years young. 45 years young. So I'm happy she gets to come out here, pack it out. She deserves all the flowers. She's one of the best athletes in the world, not just women athletes, one of the best athletes of all time. So enjoy the show and enjoy Venus Williams. Peace.
Thank you, Frances. Big hand, guys. Frances Tiafoe.
Plenty of US fans in the stands. We've enjoyed that. A nice piece of scheduling to have back-to-back USA here on John Cain Arena. And the struts there. It'll get a little more purposeful as the tournament goes on if he makes his way through, Ryan. We'd like to see it too.
Well, you can see it throughout the match. As that confidence grows, so does the presence of Big Foe. And as he said, just showing that nod of appreciation to Venus Williams, who he's going to lead this court for. It's the opening act of the big show, Venus, who's been out here so many times. And Frances will be happy to be through in straight sets. So will Venus. She'll be happy she doesn't have to sit there through 5 hours in the locker room. It's always tough to follow in some of these long men's matches. And I think that Frances will be very happy to get through, have a day off or two now to relax and recover and take it all in. As he said, AO 2026, not 2016. He had to correct himself there.
So here's the match summary, 2 hours and 13 minutes.
Yeah, if we look at the stats, look, 23 aces in 3 sets is a lot. It's a hefty number, especially considering how swift the third set was. Kept that service percentage up in the third set, especially. He was able to win so many points behind his first serve at 80% for the match, is dominant. The second set, the second serve points won was down, but throughout the rest of the match, he was pretty dominant on serve. And we look at the winners, 53 winners in 3 sets of tennis. That shows you his foot was on the gas, more than doubling up the 22 winners from Kubler. A lot of times the aggressor, it pays off. He would have been in control. 4 breaks of serve, one-way traffic there throughout the end of the match for Frances Tiafoe.
Yeah, the pressure points is not on that graphic, but there were moments there where Kubler had opportunities, the 2 set points in the opening set, a couple of other chances in the second as well. But Tiafoe was up to the task there. So here's the family tree, what it looks like in the draw. A couple of spots being filled in. So Tiafoe will take on the Argentine Francesco Comasana. Dimonor looming down the bottom. Bublik at the top of that section of the draw. Opening day. Starting to fill in the spots. Thank you to you, Ryan and Wally downstairs. Hope you'd enjoyed that action. Plenty more still to come all around the precinct here, but particularly on John Cain Arena. Venus Williams up against the Serbian Olga Danilovic. But for now, it's the big foe. Frances Tiafoe gets the win, and he is through to the second round. so good. Takes the 2 points against the serve of Kubler. That's a good escape really for Tiafoe. Saving the set points. It's not a passion one, Joey. I quite like the Tiafoe kick splash.
Come on. Here you go.
Well, took a little longer than expected for Tiafoe. That's the 10 set point. He gets it. Takes a 2-set-to-love lead. So Tiafoe gets the opening round win. It was expected. He was pressed though by the